Okay, so I've given it a lot of thought, and I finally have my decision on whether or not I'm going to buy WWE 2K19. The answer is...
Dude.
The WRESTLEDUDE.
The WRESTLEDUDE.
Welcome back, you guys, to the WWE 2K19 finale here. This is going to be the finale of all this WWE 2K19 news and talking about it. And we've come a long way. If you guys don't know me, my name is Jacob. I am the CEO and creator of the WRESTLEDUDE channel, the channel that you are watching right now. If you haven't already, please leave a thumbs up on the video. As we're going to get into it here today, this is going to be my final thoughts on WWE 2K19. We're going to go through the good, the bad, and I will give my final decision on WWE 2K19 and whether or not I'm going to buy it, as the title and the thumbnail and everything states. So we've had a lot of videos talking about WWE 2K19. I think after this video I have a playlist of all, it's called 2K19 news and stuff like that. I think after this video gets added to it, there will be 17 videos. I have done now 17 videos regarding WWE 2K19, whether it's been talking about the roster, talking about stuff that's good about it, talking about stuff that's bad about it, trailer reactions, screenshot reactions, anything, you name it. There's even a freaking little rap thing that I put in there inspired by the WWE 2K18 commercial with Snoop Dogg doing that rap. That was really good. I tried to do a version of it for 2K19 and I think it turned out very cringy. If you guys want to watch it, I'll put a link to it up in the corner somewhere. Fair warning, it is full of cringe. But here today we are going to be talking about my overall thoughts on the game. I've waited a little bit because obviously these WWE YouTubers and YouTubers who got invited out to play the game early, they got exclusive footage and stuff like that, so I wanted to indulge in all of the footage, write down some notes on stuff that I noticed and new features and stuff like that to write down and talk about. I wanted to take a little bit of time to really breathe it all in before I did my final video, and that brings us to right now. And a lot of my videos leading up to WWE 2K19 have been some of the most viewed videos on my channel, especially the one where I get the title was "I'm Not Getting WWE 2K19," and then in parentheses I put "maybe, here's why." That video has almost 1,000 views. I get happy whenever I even get close to like 50 views, so for it to be close to 1,000 views is very, very good, and I appreciate all of you that viewed that video and viewed any of the newer videos that have come out since. So there's a lot that I've said is good about the game and a lot that is bad about the game, and my thoughts on all this has evolved over time from that video. I know looking back on it, that video seems sort of like clickbait because I'm still doing videos deciding on whether or not I'm gonna get 2K19, but I promise this is the last one, I promise. But there's been a lot of my thoughts for 2K19, and I've been very critical of it, mostly negative, but we'll get into that when I talk about some of the bad stuff. And the way that I wanted to look at 2K19 this year was through a fully what would you call it, negative lens. I wanted to look at it completely negative. I wanted to look at everything negative. That's why for my video where I looked at the first screenshot for the game, I was very negative on it. The one for Ronda Rousey, I was very negative on it, just because I always try to look at all sides of the spectrum, whether people think it's going to be very, very crappy or very, very good, or somewhere in the middle is where I want to be, so I can understand everybody's point on it, what they like about it, what they don't like about it. There was something that I said when Pete Dunne's entrance got released. I thought that Pete Dunne's entrance looked great, and then I watched a video from CM Pulse doing his reaction to the entrance, and I started to notice something he noticed, which is when Pete Dunne has the championship bit in his mouth, the championship sort of glitches around in his mouth. So I could understand there are problems with the game like that. Details like that are very minor and very hard. I mean, obviously, Pete Dunne is the only superstar that has a championship that hangs out of his mouth, so obviously there's going to be a little bit of glitchiness around that because they have to make Pete Dunne's championship entrance usable for all superstars. So imagine if someone wants to give the Big Show Pete Dunne's championship entrance, they have to sort of like work around being able to work out where the championship is going to be in which character's mouth. So I can understand that there's stuff like that, where stuff that I think is going to be a positive turns out to be a bit of a negative, and stuff that I think is negative it turns into a very big positive. And like I said, there's a lot of negative stuff that I've been talking about, but right here I have a list of everything. I have a list of some good, some bad, and then at the end I will do my final decision here. So let's run down some of the good. We're going to stick with the good for right now. We'll get into the bad sort of later on. I want to get everybody in a good mood, so I'm just going to talk really quickly about some of the good stuff about WWE 2K19. First off, this is something that's very important to me. There are more NXT people. If I remember correctly, this is this year's roster, and I may be including DLC here. This year's roster has the most current NXT people. So I know a lot of people on the main roster are from NXT, but I'm talking about people that are in NXT right now. This has the largest roster containing NXT superstars. I believe the other one before that was... It may have been 2K19. I don't know. If you guys can leave that in the comment section for me, I would really like to know. But yeah, I believe this year, with the DLC included, which I'll talk about here in a little bit, it has the most NXT people on the roster, which is great because NXT is my favorite WWE brand, and it's great that I get to play as more and more people from NXT, including some of the DLC superstars that we'll talk about here in a second. Next up, the My Player mode, or the My Career mode, looks awesome. It's voice acted, has a great story to it, seems like, which I actually did a video on, basically comparing it to Road to WrestleMania, and for the most part it seems like I was very correct with where we're going towards with it. And if you guys want to see how correct I was, you can watch the video. I'll put it up in the corner as well. So yeah, it looks really cool. Speaking of My Player and the Bray Wyatt thing, we have the Wyatt compound. That's very cool that we get to fight in the Wyatt compound. We have custom Money in the Bank briefcases. I like that they've sort of fixed the Money in the Bank briefcases, made it more interesting as it is in WWE television. There are better cash-in options, so you can cash in during a match, after a match. You can tease cash-ins, I believe, in Universe mode. You can have the Money in the Bank briefcase holder come down to the ring during a champion's match and sort of tease that they're going to cash in, and then they walk back and it interrupts the match. You can defend the Money in the Bank briefcases like championships. I think that's very cool. We've seen that on WWE TV before, so it's great that they're adding that into the game. Moving on to the DLC, like I said, great DLC this year, including the likes of EC3, Candice LeRae, the War Raiders, Ricochet. That's all awesome. I'm happy that those superstars are going to be in the game. I'm really happy that they made it to DLC. Leo Rush, Bobby Lashley, Maria and Mike Kanellis. You guys know my feelings on those DLCs. If you haven't already, you can check out the video of that. I will also put that up in the corner. I am using a lot of those iCards today. But yeah, there's a lot of great stuff. Moving on to the Creation Suite, we have more creation stuff for the Creation Suite. One thing I wanted to talk about for the Superstar Creator is they have a block character mode, which is basically like creating a wrestler in the style of Minecraft, which I'm sure there's going to be a lot of videos as soon as 2K19 comes out. I swear to you, if you look up like WWE 2K19 Minecraft, there are going to be probably like thousands of videos of people doing like WWE 2K19, The Shield versus the Creepers. Is that what the green guys are called? The evil zombie things? I don't know. I don't play Minecraft that much. But yeah, great stuff for the creation sweep mode. I also saw videos where they're adding more and more like new elements there. I think there was something from Fortnite there. It was like the cat mask. I think Chris Dank, or Dank Ops, whichever one you know him as, he posted something on Twitter about it. There's Big Head mode. Speaking of sort of arcade style, like the Minecraft thing that they added in Big Head mode, which hasn't been in many WWE game or any WWE games for a long time, which looks very cool. If you want to try and see more and more details on superstars, you can use the Big Head mode, or if you just want to have some weird arcadey fun, I think that's very cool. We have new OMG moments, which are very cool. We got a power slam through the side of a steel cage, which works in an instant win. We have the shield power bomb, which is now an OMG moment you can apply, so it's not just for the shield. You can use it for anybody. You can have the New Day do it. There are two different versions of it. You can have the regular triple power bomb, or you can have the one from off the second rope that they used against the New Day at Survivor Series last year. They have the double attitude adjustment, the double roll through AA, so when he does a AA and then he like picks him up and rolls through, sort of like a fireman's carry, a roll through, and then does another AA. That's in the game. I'm pretty sure there were a couple other OMG moments that I'm missing here, but those are the only three big cool ones that I thought those were very cool. I'd assume there's also going to be more catching finishers and catapult finishers, stuff like that. Probably a couple more new dives, especially with Ricochet being in the game. There's definitely and Leo Rush. There's probably definitely going to be a lot of more new dives. We have new updated Hell in a Cell and steel cage mechanics. The way that you climb the cell, climb the cage, you can break through the cell different ways now, which is very cool. You can sort of go around the sides of the cell, which I think is very cool. One thing that I didn't see in the footage for Hell in a Cell that I feel like we should be getting in the game is the ability to have steel chairs, ladders, and tables in the game. I know we have steel chairs. I was trying to say steel ladders, but it came out as steel chairs. But ladders and tables in Hell in a Cell, I really feel like that should come back. I remember having ladders and tables in Hell in a Cell, I believe in SmackDown vs. Raw 2009, which was very cool. Imagine like you slammed somebody through the top of Hell in a Cell and they fall through the cell, down through a table, or down onto a ladder. I think that would be very cool. I didn't see that in any of the footage. If it is in the game, that's pretty cool. If it's not in the game, always next year, so something to build off there. Yeah, steel cage mechanics, like I said, it's very cool. There's a better way to escape through the door. You can do some like dives. There's a better mini game for escaping the steel cage. There's a mini game to escape the steel cage on top of the cage, so that way it's not like an instant click a button and you instantly win. I think that's something that's been very boring about steel cage matches as of late. Really, in 2K18 in steel cage matches, all you would have to do is like hit a couple of moves, a body slam, then you quickly climb up the cage, and then as soon as you get to the top of the cage, your opponent is like on one knee, and then you just hit the button and you instantly escape and the match is over. That's very boring, and it lasts maybe like 2 minutes, depending on your level of gameplay skills. So yeah, I'm very glad that they did some work on the steel cage to make it better. Sticking with creations, we have new arena creation stuff. We have the ability to add fog, which is very cool. People are saying it gives it more of an Attitude Era feel, which I would agree with, considering in the Attitude Era there was a lot of pyro that went off, so smoke would fill the arena. So you add in that smoke instead of using the filters, it does give it more of that Attitude Era feel. Another small detail, but very interesting detail, you can design chairs, like the crowd chairs. You can put logos on that, so if you want to do a specific arena, a specific chair style, if you want to add in those like the Truth logos back on all the chairs that they had in 2K18 for, I believe, just the SmackDown arena, you can do that. It's small, but it's very cool for those of you who are very big into creating arenas. I'm not really that big into create an arena. I mostly play in the NXT arenas, or I will make an arena customized for the WRESTLEDUDE. So that's very cool for whenever I have to do that. Sticking with creations, we're going to create a moveset, and there are tons of new moves. I have set through tons of videos talking about all the new moves and showing all the new moves from movesets, and they look awesome. They look great. There's reanimated ones. There's like the top rope Fameasser that I know a lot of people have been wanting a new animation for. There's a couple new suplexes. One of my favorites that I have noted here, my favorite new move that has been shown in this year's game is a top rope half and half suplex. And if you guys don't know what that is, it's where one arm is locked behind your back and the other one they have like up in a half Nelson, and then they'll flip you back. That off the top rope I think looks freaking awesome, and the animation for it looks great. I have no doubt that that's probably like Oni Lorcan's move, or something Oni Lorcan does. That definitely does look like something Oni Lorcan would do, and I'm so excited. That's probably going to be the first move that I use in 2K19 if I decide to get it. But yeah, and another thing regarding movesets, payback. There are these payback buffs, not the pay-per-view payback, but there are these payback buffs. Some of them that I've written down here too, my favorites are Possum and Low Blow, and these can change the tides of a match at any moment. Possum, I believe, is where you like pretend to be hurt, and then when your opponent tries to lift you up, you like do something like a roll-up pin out of nowhere. And then Low Blow, obviously, is where you low blow your opponent, and the best thing about that is if you do a low blow in front of a referee and a referee sees it, it causes a disqualification. So in order to use that debuff and that payback buff to your opponent, you have to somehow get the referee either knocked down at a crucial point in match, or like throw him out of the ring to where he's like, or maybe like mess around, throw a weapon on the ground so he has to go pick up the weapon and throw it out of the ring. Then you hit the low blow. I don't know how fast the animation is, so I would have to see how fast the animation is. There's also another one that's Power of the Punch, which is Brass Knucks, which can also cause a disqualification if the referee sees it. I think that's very cool. I think these are very cool debuffs. There's also one where you can turn off the lights like The Undertaker and appear behind him. That would be very cool for superstars like Sting, Bray Wyatt, other people like that. So I think these payback buffs are going to be very cool. There's been a lot of great stuff that they've put in these gameplay videos from these YouTubers and stuff that I've been able to take and put and think about how cool it is. Awesome new moves, awesome created stuff, more NXT people, but that's the good. Now we're going to talk about the bad, and the bad is where I think some of it is very strong, in my opinion. You guys may think differently, you guys may think this is small stuff, but to me and to quite a few other people, this is some big stuff. So this is the bad of this year. The first big thing that I think is a big bad this year is, how do I put this? It's been a weird year to where they've released their news. Obviously, in years past, we've had this sort of like schedule where we know when stuff's going to be released. We always know that the roster reveal is going to come out like around SummerSlam weekend and stuff like that. We know that the official screenshots are going to be dropped at a certain time. We usually knew when the cover star trailers were going to be. This year it's been kind of weird. They haven't really been sharing a lot of news with us. Also, something that's been missing this year that was for last year, and I think maybe even the year before that, is the 2K Dev YouTube channel. Usually they'll upload like these little clips talking about stuff. This year they didn't do that, which may have been understandable considering it might have given away spoilers for stuff like the My Career mode and some other stuff, roster reveals maybe. But yeah, I always like that kind of stuff. It makes it more engaging to us when the companies like 2K like peel back the curtain. We get to see what they're doing to work on the game and stuff like that. And I really think that they dropped the ball on all that. I compared it in another video, but I would definitely compare this style of releasing news as sort of the way WWE booked John Cena versus The Undertaker from WrestleMania this past year. Cena came out every week and he was saying The Undertaker, do something, do something, do something, and nothing happened. That's kind of how I would compare 2K's way of releasing news for 2K19. They kind of waited till the very end to give us all the good stuff, the roster reveal, the screenshot, screenshots, the trailers, and all this gameplay being released only like a couple of weeks before 2K19 releases. It's kind of like how John Cena and The Undertaker, only all the good stuff happened at the very end at WrestleMania, is what I would compare it to. So a very confusing year for news to be released. Maybe it'll be different next year, but like I said, just my opinion, just a really weird way to release all your news. Another big thing that a lot of people are going to hold against 2K for the next year is missing superstars such as the likes of Trent Seven, Brian Kendrick, Buddy Murphy, Nikki Cross, and the current reigning defending NXT champion Tommaso Ciampa. These missing superstars have been lighting up 2K's Twitter for months and months, deservedly so. We didn't know all the details about it. But yeah, these superstars aren't included in this year's game. Trent Seven was the first interesting one to me because Tyler Bate is in the game. He's in the style and attire of Mustache Mountain, so I always assumed that he would also be in the game. It's weird that he is not as of right now. Brian Kendrick, another weird one to not be included in the game. Buddy Murphy, another weird one. Nikki Cross is a very interesting one considering she was in last year's game and she's still on WWE TV regularly for NXT. And then the last one, Tommaso Ciampa, I really don't get that one. Same reasons as Nikki Cross. He was in last year's game. He's been on NXT television quite frequently, and he was on NXT television before WrestleMania weekend, which is usually the cutoff date for your superstar scans. Those are very interesting. It may be down to like contract negotiations with the game, or like I said, maybe Tommaso Ciampa wants to be the biggest heel in wrestling, even to wrestling games fans, and he said, I'm not going to be in the game just to be a bigger heel about it. But yeah, very, very interesting. A lot of people are very mad about that. I'm still very mad about it, just because some of them don't really make any sense. The three being Ciampa, Cross, and Brian Kendrick. Trent Seven and Buddy Murphy may be a different story. But who knows? I'm still holding out that maybe there's going to be a patch later on that patches these superstars in, or maybe 2K will give us like a free DLC with Ciampa, Cross, Kendrick, and maybe even Trent Seven and Buddy Murphy and a couple others, saying like they weren't in the final game, so here we'll give you this free DLC that you can download and you'll have the superstars there. Although gaming companies giving their customers free DLC doesn't really sound like something they'd do. They'd probably put it as like $20. But I'm still holding out. The outside arenas, another negative. The outside arenas, like the Spanish arena, Spaniard arena, what was it? The parking lot arena, the Japan Dome arenas. Those are apparently only exclusive for my player mode, which it kind of sucks. Like I said, if you're a arena creator and you want to create like a New Japan Dome, or if you want to do something with like the Spanish, if you want to do AAA, you can do it with the Spanish arena, but you can't because they're exclusive to my player mode. There's sort of like a retweet petition going around on Twitter to where like if you retweet it, then 2K might patch those arenas, those outside arenas and my career mode arenas into the game, kind of like how they did with the cutscenes for create a highlight reel or create a video. So yes, maybe those will be added in. I don't know if I'll even be using those arenas that much, but it will be very nice to have them in the game. So a very interesting thing to be left out. Also, something about my player, like I talked about earlier, the Wyatt Compound, or the House of Horrors. It's a great addition to the game. It's very cool. I think it's looked very cool. It was one of the big high points about that gameplay trailer that we got, and as more and more news has come out about it, it seems as though it is just aesthetic. There are no weapons or anything in the area. It's a very small area to fight in, and you can't really do much in it. That was kind of one of the bummy things that I was thinking about, like what if this Wyatt Compound House of Horrors thing is just like a background dress thing, like if it's just like the backstage brawls, and it seems like it's just like the backstage brawls, only it's worse, because like I said, apparently there are no weapons and there's barely anything you can interact with, which kind of sucks. I wasn't expecting anything big. Like, I wasn't expecting us to be able to go into the House of Horrors. I would expect us just to be fighting outside of it. But that very bums me out, because, like I said, it was one of the high points of that gameplay trailer, and to say, like, there's barely anything to it, it kind of bums me out. Also, something about My Player that bums me out, there's still no female My Player mode, which I'm sure for any female fans, that very bums me out. So I'm sure next year we'll have that female My Player mode with a specific story for the females. Hopefully it's nothing like the friggin' boring story or dumb storylines we've been getting on WWE TV with Nia Jax being called fat. I think that's really stupid. And all the women standing in a row, that kind of stuff. I think that stuff's kind of stupid. Maybe the female My Player mode can have like a story that leads up to Evolution, and maybe it'll have a story mode where it gets you to the first ever females main event of WrestleMania. I think that'd be very cool. Speaking of females, there's obviously the thing about Lana and her attire and her hair being very weird. That was another interesting choice. I don't really see this as a bad. I think of it as just a weird thing. But on the other hand, I see this more as like an exclusive thing. Like, hey, you want to play as this exclusive Lana? It's only in WWE 2K19. But yeah, some people may think of it as a bad, so I threw that one in there. Some of these I got from Reddit, just for like goods and bads. Another bad, I saw one of my favorite YouTubers, The Great One, talk about this a little bit. He thought that the championship titles looked a little weird this year compared to 2K18, and I would for the most part agree with him. I've seen some side-by-side images, and they do look kind of weird. Maybe it's because of the custom side plates. That's another good thing. They have these like cool little custom side plates for superstars whenever they win championships. It does kind of look a little weird. I won't doubt it. Yeah, maybe it's just lighting. Maybe once the game comes out, it'll be better polished and it'll look better. But yeah, I could definitely see where he's coming from. And then obviously the final bad thing, and I've seen this in a lot of gameplay videos, tons and tons of them. I don't want to use any of the footage because obviously that belongs to them. But if you've seen any of the gameplay footage, you will obviously know that there are glitches, and there will always, I have no doubt in my mind, until we get to maybe like the PlayStation 6 or the Xbox 480 or something like that, there will always be glitches in games. And some of the glitches were small, like the Pete Dunne championship title in the mouth. That's kind of small, understandable. Other glitches were very apparent, like there was a video talking about the Money in the Bank cash-in options, and then there was a scene where Braun Strowman walks down to the ring with no Money in the Bank briefcase in hand. Like, that's a very, very big thing, very big glitch, so hopefully that kind of stuff is fixed before the actual game comes out. Yeah, just stuff like that. Glitches like that will always be in the game, but the severity of them and how big the glitches are, like the Braun Strowman Money in the Bank briefcase, those are big glitches that should not be in the game for games like this. Smaller glitches like the Pete Dunne championship in the mouth, those are understandable. But yeah, glitches will always be in the game. So that's all the bad, and before that was all the good. I'll leave some timestamps in the video description if I can, so that way if you guys just want to hear the good or the bad, or maybe if you guys want to skip all the way to my final decision, which is going to be right now, you guys can do that. So I've ran through all the good, I've ran through all the bad, we've almost gone half an hour. Jeez, I have spent half an hour talking about a game that hasn't even come out yet. All for my final decision, which, like I said, this year I've been very critical of it. 17 videos now talking about 2K19. There's good, there's bad. there's stuff in between. There's understandable stuff. There's weird choices like Lana's thing. There's great choices like getting more arcadey stuff like this Minecraft thing or the big head mode. Great improvements to the gameplay overall. It looks faster. It looks more fluid. Better sound effects. Commentary I don't really care about just because whenever I get the games I always mute the commentary. Yeah, there's a lot of good. My player is going to be very fun to see this year. And everybody kind of sort of expects, like, after all this good stuff that I talked about compared to the bad, then there's going to be this, like, storybook ending of this game looks great, it's awesome, all the bad has been pushed out, and that's honestly not the case. There's still a heck of a lot more bad that outweighs the good here. Personally for me, and it's just stuff that, I don't know, stuff that I can't really look past, and everybody's expecting this, like, good ending. I don't know if I'm making the right choice here, but my final choice on whether or not I'm going to get WWE 2K19 is yes, I'm gonna get it. I think this year's game looks awesome. I think all the arcadey stuff looks cool. I think I'm gonna have fun playing this game. I think it will hold out for over a year. I think that the tower mode stuff's gonna be fun. My career is going to be very fun to play, and I don't know, if I'm making the wrong choice, I'll always have the option to return it, but in all honesty, I think the good has outweighed the bad, and yeah, that's my final decision. I will get WWE 2K19 for PlayStation 4. I'm not going to pre-order it or anything, I'm just going to get the game itself, because obviously the DLCs and stuff like that will always be back up on the marketplace. I'll be able to get Ronda Rousey or Rey Mysterio if I want to, but that is my final choice. I am going to get WWE 2K19 when it comes out. It's been a long road for news and stuff, and a lot to talk about for 2K19, but October 6th, or whenever it comes out, I think it's October 6th, I will buy 2K19. I hope it's very, very good. Let me know in the comments, will you be buying WWE 2K19? And since I am going to be getting 2K19, as I just said, this moves us on to our next step, which is going to be talking about what I'm going to do for 2K19 regarding Universe Mode. So that will be my next video. It won't be about 2K19 news, it'll just be about 2K19. So until that video comes out, I have been Jacob from the WRESTLEDUDE channel, and that has been my final decision on WWE 2K19. Thank you for watching.